No matter how many lies we tell ourselves or how many stories we convince ourselves we're a part of, we're all just thieves awaiting a noose. Hello everybody and welcome to Windrose Day 14. It's a pretty misty, foggy morning this morning, but I have a lot to do. First and foremost, I have to catch up, particularly with Benjamin Hornigold, who was an actual historic pirate. I picked up a quest from him a few episodes ago, and this is going to be me finishing it. And I'm really excited to finish this one because I think it's actually going to give us a little bit more lore about what's actually going on in Windrose with the artifact and how the artifact is making us undead. Blackbeard is using it to raise the undead, basically. And Benjamin told me that if I help him out and I help him fight Stede Bonnet, that he will give me information about that artifact. So I am loaded with supplies because I need to help Benjamin repair his ship, the Ranger. Let me show you my quest log here. It mentions the Ranger, which I think is really cool. So gather the resources to repair the Ranger and deliver them to Captain Hornigold. The Ranger was his 30-gun sloop. So I don't know if we're going to actually get to see the Ranger or not. I would love that, but let's give him...
The Brethren need sailors who believe in our cause.
The Brethren need sailors who believe in our cause. And I think that's really interesting because Benjamin's history, he was originally a pirate and then he turned into a pirate hunter. So that's a little ironic. The Brethren, the pirate brethren, must really believe in the cause, but oh, I'm going to go turn into a pirate hunter. Anyway, he actually commanded Blackbeard before Blackbeard became bigger than him, and then he ended up hunting Blackbeard, which I think is really cool. All right, let's give him these supplies.
Order keeps the rope away.
Okay, I've gathered the resources for the repairs. You always bring the best news. If only all my lads worked like you. My hands are itching to make Bonnet pay, but I'll have to wait a bit. I need time to get the Ranger back in shape. Okay, so sometime later, as you can see, we've given him all the resources. And what now?
Order keeps the rope away.
All right, all set to take on the pirates? I swear on my hat, it's time to show Bonnet who the real ruler of these waters is. He was last seen near the swamp. My Ranger will be waiting for you there. So we might actually get to see the Ranger. This is so cool. So let's ask him who Stede Bonnet is. I went over this in a past video, but I think it's cool to have context about who we're about to go up against. Who is Stede Bonnet? One of Blackbeard's toadies who commands a few ships with Teach disappeared off the map. Bonnet's our biggest headache. He was once a gentleman with a hefty inheritance. He threw money about on Tortuga, complaining his life was coiffed and castrated. What a waste of fortune and circumstance, a spoiled brat. Back home, his wife and kids nagged him so hard he ran off and turned pirate, and he took to it fast. He captured 4 prize ships right away and became one of Teach's trusted dogs. Bonnet's got talent, I'll grant him that. But I'll eat my hat before I let him ruin the archipelago. Run ruin in the archipelago. That son of a kraken broke 2 masts on my Ranger. Okay, and that is why we repaired the Ranger. So I think we're about to go take on Stede Bonnet, which is pretty cool. So let's see what the quest says now. Defeat Stede Bonnet's fleet. The Ranger has been launched and the Brethren of the Coast are ready to move against Stede Bonnet, one of Blackbeard's lieutenants, who has kept the archipelago under siege. It's time to begin the counterattack. This is the perfect opportunity to take my Argonautica, the Blackbeard frigate variant, for a spin against some higher level enemies, I think. I took on a level 15 enemy in the last episode, but I think the quest enemies are a little more armored or with higher HP. But anyway, defeat Stede Bonnet's fleet. Luckily enough for me, I have a fast travel point right off that area, so I can save my respawn just in case we have issues, which you never know, we might. I wanted to take this moment to thank everybody about the comments on frigate history, as well as some tactics to use when on my frigate. So I think the most important one that got the most likes was that I don't need to turn as much as I am setting up shots with my cannons because the grog makes it so fast to reload that by the time I've turned, the cannons I was originally using would have already been ready to go again. So speaking of grog, let's get that going. I've got hard grog, which will increase my damage resistance by 15% for 30 minutes, and then Today I've got increases damage by 15% for 30 minutes. I didn't quite have enough rum. The rum's gone again. I didn't quite have enough rum to build the other one. I am still running ship shape, which means my repair kits will continue working even if I get hit, and they will last longer. My grog will also last longer. There was a great comment about all of the different setups you can use. Ooh, I might run aground here. That's quite shallow. But there was a great comment about the setups you can use and how ship shape, and also, oh, what is it I have on here? Stretch the supply. That's what does the increased length of repair kits and grog. I have keel hold, which means that my repair kit duration is also increased when it's ascended. So the idea is that maybe I should look into different combinations because this may not be the perfect one. When I play games, I tend to just play what's fun to me, and sometimes when something is just working okay, even if it's not the most optimal thing, I'll stick to it. And so that's kind of what I'm doing now. But once I've completed the story, I would like to definitely... Oh, there's the ranger! Oh, how cool is this? Look at that! Once I've completed the story, I want to go and try figuring out different setups that I think are really fun. I used to really like the no quarter setup because you had to get right up on them if you wanted to heal, and it was like an extra gameplay element that I found really satisfying. But anyway, silence. Men, let's do this. There's the ranger, there's the Royal James. I'm going to have to look up the Royal James and see if she was actually Bonnet's ship. With the way the Kraken Express has been with their historical mentions and drops, I would imagine she is. So we've got level 15 Blackbeard warship, we've got the level 15 Royal James, we've got 2 level 15 Blackbeard warships. We're going to see how this goes. I am not perfect with my combat, but I usually can manage. I'm going to try taking the Ranger's lead and going after this closest warship without getting too into the fray. The second tip in the comments that I think is going to help is that I can fire my top and bottom deck separately, and that they have different range, so perhaps I should be. Let's try this. I don't know if that'll hit any hits. No, it didn't. A bit hard to see in the fog. I'm going to have to get a bit closer. Bonnet's crew had the same idea I did regarding staying out of the center of the fray, so we played tag for a few minutes before I could finally line up a few shots. Alright. Spin around to this warship. The Royal James might get a shot on our stern there. Alright, here we go. That was firing both decks. Those were some solid hits. We're about to collide. I'm hoping I can get a repair kit off before she fires on me. Ooh, this is bad. Repair, repair, repair. Okay. Fired both decks there. That wasn't bad. To my surprise, Hornigold's ship actually acted as if it were Truffle, taking main parts of the aggro away from me so that I could steal around the side and get some broadside hits off on the warships. Alright, let's see if we can get a good shot on our stern here. We should be able to. There we go. Okay, so that ship is now not going to bother me anymore. Now the Royal James is on me. Come on, cannons! Let's go! Alright, now I need to get my repairs going. I'm going to actually stop and let this get in front of me. Ooh, man, just taking broadside shots. And we can get her stern. There we go. That was what I was waiting for. Now I want to turn and try and get her with the fours. The Ranger is holding up. Ranger's holding up on her own over there. Okay, the Royal James is going to try and get a shot on me again. Let's see. Ooh, I didn't mean to click that. There we go. That was not bad. Okay. I'm going to slow down to turn again, because I believe she's coming around my right side here. And not the left side that I already had prepared. Okay, here we go. Any luck? Yeah, okay, nice 35k shot. I'm impressed with how the frigate is holding up. I'm gonna heal through that. Because my gear is level 13. These are level 15 ships. Alright, I'm gonna try and keep my starboard side presented because I'm pretty sure the Royal James is gonna turn into me. Let's see. Yep. I can't tell if that is gonna reach. Let's try. Alright, that was the top deck. And this is gonna be the bottom deck. So the bottom deck did some good damage. The top deck did not much. I'm gonna turn slightly. And look, the cannons are ready to go again. Unfortunately, it's night, and I'm having a hard time seeing. Let's try that top deck and bottom deck at the same time. Did we get anything? We did. Okay, nice. Those were some good shots. She's gonna keep circling us, I think. This is an epic battle. Absolute epic battle. The Argonautica is gonna earn her name here. Alright, here we go. Both decks. Nice, we got her. Okay. Now, I need to get rid of that other Blackbeard warship. So the Royal James is now incapacitated, which means it's not going to be a problem for me anymore. Now we need to get this Blackbeard ship. My question is, do I board? Or do I board her? Or am I supposed to sink her? Alright, Ranger, I'm coming to your... Oh, what are they doing? I think they're locked up. Oh, I need to rescue the Ranger. In any case. I spent so much time collecting resources for her. I need to make sure she doesn't go down. Oh my gosh, as I crash into her. Having a really rough time seeing in this storm. Alright. I think it's gonna be just out of range. I'll try it. Yeah, so that was just out of range. I'm gonna keep setting up for this. I chased down the warship but heard cannons fire from behind and realized that Hornigold was out for blood and doing my job for me. Oh my gosh, the Ranger's gonna sink the Royal James. Like, actually. Gonna finish the job for me. I really wanted to get this warship, but it looks like it's running. Okay, let me check my quest log before Hornigold sinks her. All it says is defeat Stede Bonnet's fleet, so I'm just gonna go ahead and sink it. So here we go. Royal James sunk. We did it. We still have to take on the rest of the fleet though. So let's take down that warship, and then the other one I think is still coming up on our stern, which I should not have presented to it. Whisper. Alright, let's take those. And let's turn slightly, line this shot up. Come on, I don't know if I'm going to be able to turn fast enough. Okay, there we go. That was not a bad hit. I'm just going to keep turning to keep this starboard side presented to it. It's already got the debuff on it, so hopefully we can reload in time. There we go. Hopefully one of those hits. Of course, none of them did. Alright. Try that one. Nice. Alright, and now the top deck is ready again. Should be a good one. Alright. And if I could just slow down, I think the bottom deck will be ready. There we go. Cool. Okay. So now that it can't move anymore, it should be much easier to get a few final shots in on it. I should also note that I've been wanting to use the chain shot so that I can disable the sails on these ships. The issue is that they are bugged right now. So, not going to be doing that. But man, these level 15 ships are tanky. I should really get my cannons upgraded a few more levels. Alright, so there was that one. One more left, Hornigold, and we've done it. In a storm. Epic battle. This is so fun. There's nothing better for stress relief than taking on some pirates in Windrose. on the high seas. And with an NPC too, how cool is this? I didn't even know this was like an option. Alright. Let's see. He's gonna try and take it down. Look at that. Uh-oh, we're gonna crash. I gotta stop again. Sorry, Ben. I'm not used to working alongside other ships, you know, having a fleet. Alright. There we go. That should do it. Oh, wow. That did not do it. There we go. Look at that. Sunk. Sinking in the storm. I had to get a shot. Look at how cool that looks. I hope the lightning will flash. Come on. Come on, lightning. Darn. I think it would look so... There it goes. That was cool. Okay. So that was that. New quest in the journal. I just want to pick up these spoils, and then we will go see what old Hornigold has to say. Alright. Brethren of the Coast, return to Captain Hornigold. Stede Bonnet's fleet has finally been dealt with. I need to return to Benjamin Hornigold. He promised to tell me everything he knows about the artifact in return for my help. Yes, this is what I'm excited for. I am so curious how Windrose is going to present this lore. I also want to know if Bonnet escaped. If we're ever going to actually see Bonnet, or if the... Hello, my camera. Hello. There we go. Or if the implication is that Bonnet just sunk and that was it for Bonnet. Okay. Lore drop time.
My hat needs some attention. Without rules, we're nothing.
Okay. Bonnet's ships are in Davy Jones' locker. Thank you for your help, Captain. You did good for the brethren. Okay. You promised to tell me about the artifact. I don't know much. The governor could talk for hours on end, but he kept his mouth shut when it came to serious matters. The artifact has been kept on Tortuga since the fortress was founded. The first references in the chronicles date back around 200 years. This is really interesting that they talk about the founding of Tortuga. Benjamin Hornigold was actually a part of the founding of the Pirates of Nassau, the community of pirates in Nassau. So I think it's cool they mentioned the founding of Tortuga, even though I'm not sure he was directly involved in that. The first references in the chronicles date back around 200 years. So if we're in the 1700s, that would put us in like the 15-ish hundreds, maybe a little before that, which is when Columbus came across, which I think is interesting. Beneath the artifact's description, there's a drawing of a corpse with marks just like yours, and a note. Burn no later than 1 hour after death. Hold on, I gotta read that again. Beneath the artifact's description, there's a drawing of a corpse with marks just like yours. Okay, so me. Or, you know, people affected by the artifact. And a note. Burn no later than 1 hour after death. Burn, so like... okay. Processing. Another detail that caught my attention. In the margins next to the artifact's description, someone had written the name Davy Jones. And we all know that Davy Jones is a metaphor for the sea, perhaps. Could the artifacts be the keys to Davy Jones' locker? Maybe someone meant to offer him the artifact as a gift. What does the sea devil have to do with it? Could the artifacts be the keys to Davy Jones' locker? This is new lore I've never heard before. I don't remember this being in the alpha, by the way. This is really cool. Are we gonna, like, get to go... getting excited. Perhaps. Otherwise, where did all those drowned come from? Jean-Paul said that each governor of the island was supposed to protect it and keep their mouths shut, or else lose their mouths along with their heads. An accidental broken neck here, an accidental stab in the stomach there. You know how it goes. He didn't mention where the artifact came from. Maybe he didn't know. He only said he'd send it to someone trustworthy in the Order before Teach could get his grimy hands on it. I thought Teach had finally found the relic when I saw the drowned crawling out the sea, but it seems he's got a relic of his own. Okay, what order was the governor talking about? Hell if I know, but I'll tell you this, Tortuga has always had a patron hiding in the shadows. Maybe he's hiding there right now. Jean-Paul mentioned Spanish ruins in the Ashlands once. So the Ashlands is going to be like Spanish ruins? You can head there now that the sea routes are clear. So I wonder when the Ashlands come out if this quest is a prerequisite to being able to actually get there. One more thing. You managed to take down 3 of Blackbeard's best captains. He's an arrogant bastard, and he won't let an insult like that slide. Take my advice. Prepare for battle. And now we get a bunch of the miniatures to put in our base. This is so interesting. So, burn no later than an hour after death. I'm wondering if, like, when the ship sunk, did we burn technically after we died, and so now we are undead because we went through that process? There might be a better explanation to that. I just haven't had time to really think it out yet. Very interesting. Oh, this is so cool. I am having so much fun with this. This is so amazing. Okay, so let's see what it's going to take to build those miniatures, because I am curious. They should be under decoration. Let's see. Miniatures? Are they in here? I guess not. Oh, I probably have to learn them. Let's learn them. Okay, so we've got cutter miniatures. We've got ketch miniatures, brig miniatures, and frigate miniatures. Okay. Now, hello, I should be able to find them in here. Wow, there's so many. Cutter in a bottle, cutter on a stand. Okay, so the cutter on a stand takes 5 hardwood and 2 linen fabric. Yeah, these aren't very hard on the materials at all, and they're gonna look really cool once I do get the base built up and decorated. So yeah, look, the brig on a stand. They're so cool. It'd be really neat if you could figure out a way to like make a map on something and then put them on it, like as if they are moving, like a war room or something. Okay. Quest updated in the journal. The Brethren of the Coast quest has been completed, which I am really excited to say because that was an absolutely epic journey. Okay. Now what I would like to do is to finish up the Blackbeard treasures. I still have a few of them. So conveniently enough, there's one right by my base that I'm going to go ahead and set sail towards now. And how convenient is this that the skies have cleared, the storm has cleared, we battled our way through the night with Benjamin Hornigold. It's still so cool to me. That is still so cool to me. So anyway, oh, that's the Mockingbird. I'm gonna have to take her out again, but anyway, let's get aboard and go get some of Blackbeard's treasure. I was thinking about this earlier. What do you think Blackbeard's thoughts are on some privateer digging up his prized treasure? Probably not good ones. He's gonna return to those islands and be like, wait a minute, I swear this is where I buried the treasure. And then it's just not gonna be there because a bunch of pirates, well, are we even really pirates? I mean, think about it. Think about it. Are we actually pirates? Pirates would take from the rich or wealthy or British merchant ships or, you know, stuff like that. And we are actually just stealing from other pirates. I think pirates are really all we've fought against. So does that make us like privateers rather than pirates? If there were British fleets sailing around... Oh, look at the rainbow. That's so cool. Let me do this. But yeah, if there were like British merchant ships sailing around that we could take down, I would feel a bit more like a pirate. Although Blackbeard does have his freighters and merchant ships, so maybe the idea is that Blackbeard is the big bad British Navy in this one. And so technically, because we are not working with him as a pirate, but rather against him, and that he has so much control and money and fortune that we want, that it counts. Maybe that's the idea. Just some food for thought as we continue through the game. I should also mention, thank you to a commenter who asked if I noticed this little box in the bottom right. that says what I still have left to explore. To be completely honest, I hadn't been looking at it. Oh, hold on, we've got some ships. It's just level 2 gunboats. I pity them if I were to open fire on them. But anyway, I hadn't really looked at this box before, and it's making me notice that I have so many notes. Excameline is the adventurer who is leaving these really cool notes. I want to find more of them because I love the act of like reading the notes he's left and then trying to find things in the game that match what his note said. So like right now, my biggest quest is to find some kind of tree monster in the swamp and see if it's real or not. My logic behind that is that Henry Every was real. Henry Every was mentioned in his first note, and he has long been on Tortuga. Oh, buddy, I'm not sure why you've done this. I missed, but I'm not sure why you've done this. You know, it's probably really hard to hit such a small boat with these massive cannons. There we go. Yeah. Yep. I'm just gonna keep sailing. But anyway, my logic is that Henry Every was real based on that explorer's notes. So I do think that that swamp monster is possible. The plague-ridden tree swamp monster thing. I'm gonna have to find it. I love discovering things in an organic way like that. Organic because it's a tree, I guess. It's a swamp-grown organic tree. I'm not even gonna bother with that little level 2 ship. But there's another island over here I haven't explored, speaking of unexplored islands. I'm hoping that these Blackbeard treasures will lead me towards more islands that I can run through and explore. Alright, here we are. This is Blackbeard map number 2, by the way. I'm really curious what happens when you finish them all, or if it's just like a, you know, just guiding you towards these chests rather than giving you a big reward at the end. So, alright men, that's enough. That'll do. We have literally crashed upon the shallow shores of this island. I do have a little bit of trouble parking my frigate sometimes because I can't see how shallow the shorelines are. I just wanted to take a moment to admire how gnarly this figurehead is. Look at that. Love it. Gonna go ahead and take a dive rather than get in a smaller ship. You know, clean myself off after drenching myself in the enemy's blood in that last battle. Speaking of gnarly phrases, gnarly turns of word. Uh-oh. Here we go, we're gonna start drowning. At least it's a slow drain. There we go. Alright, anyway, I've got my shovel equipped. This is a really cute little island. Like a nice little cove here. Why are the Blackbeard Islands always the ones that have the prettiest building location possibilities? I've noticed that, for sure. We've got some sows here, and in just a moment, I'm hoping to see a skeleton somewhere that will tell me where I need to dig. Here it is. Here's the old skeleton. Okay, so this looks like a nice pile to dig with. I've got my shovel, which is interesting. It won't let me dig unless I have the shovel on my hotbar. Oh, there we go. Okay, so if you run into that issue, just click it again in your inventory. Okay. Let's dig this. Let's find this chest. Let's see what of Blackbeard's treasures we can find. There it is, decrepit chest. Silver ingot, piaster, and style book. Blackbeard hull colors. Nice! I think those are... Ooh, Kraken ink. Wow, that was a lot of stuff. I think those are colors that I can use on my Blackbeard variant ships that I love so much. In case you didn't know, each variant of ship can only use the styles that match the variant. So like my Brethren tanky ship cannot use the Blackbeard variant's colors, which I think is an interesting design choice. But anyway, I am definitely, I think at the end of this video, once we check out this next Blackbeard treasure, I'm gonna go and we're gonna customize the frigate and see what the options look like, because I haven't really had a good chance to do that yet. And I think a big part of games is having your own unique identity visually. And it's so cool that we have ships that we can do that on. I love games that give you mounts, ships, transport, types of transport, because usually they come with customization that makes the game feel a little bit more like you. And look at this, I hadn't noticed this before. The cat is at the front as well. I wonder what the story behind that is, why they decided to do that. Like if there's a developer honoring his cat who's recently passed or something. I don't know, or if it's like a hint that maybe we will be getting cats in the future. That would be awesome. Just like ships and transport and mounts and things, I am always a fan of having pets, as you can tell by my love of truffle. But anyway, we're slowly backing out, and we are going to head up to, it looks like a swamp. This will be the first map. You know what, I'm just going to go ahead and travel to the swamp here rather than sail. I turned the ship southwest, eager to figure out what awaited me in Blackbeard's final piece of treasure. Alright, the next island has been spotted. I am threading the needle between two very different types of ship battles that could possibly happen. We've got the little level 2 gunboats, and then we've got the level 12 interceptors and freighters. But anyway, this looks like another really nice inlet island. It actually reminds me a lot of the one we just came from. It looks like it's going to be a coastal island. I thought it was going to be a swamp. Alright, men, nice singing. Kept me entertained for the sail over. But yeah, look at this. It's got a little inlet, and then it's got like a little mountain range in the back. There's cliffs, and let's see where the shallow water is in this one. Again, it's nighttime. Bit tricky to see. Try and pull up against this little shore here. Hopefully without crashing. Okay. And do I have my lantern? I sure do. I have it turned on. I'm getting better at realizing that I can turn things on in my inventory. Oh, we're still sailing past. But yeah, I like that you can equip things from your inventory and you don't always have to have it on your hotbar. Thank you to the kind commenter who has brought that up. It's very convenient to be able to do this now. Okay. Let's see where this treasure is. I gotta pick up these healing misty orchid flowers here that I can use to make more potions. But anyway, here we have the poor soul who is guarding Blackbeard's treasure. I think it's interesting that each treasure has one of these skeletons. I wonder what the lore might be behind why they are there. Other than just being a creepy marker. Did Blackbeard haul a dead body to mark each of his chests? I wouldn't put it past him, honestly. He probably did. Okay, here we go. Blackbeard flag designs, some more piastres and some silver ingots, which I have been needing for my jewelry crafting. But yeah, look at how cute this is. This is really nice. And you've got the little alcove, or the arch there. Yeah, this is cool. I could see you totally being able to like dredge through here to get a small ship through. I kind of gave up on trying to get my bigger ships into my base because it's just too deep and it's too much to dredge. Okay, it is time now to head back, and we are going to see what these decorations look like on the frigate. Maybe even on the Mockingbird too. It already looks pretty cool the way it is at default. But I bet there are some neat color combinations that we can try out for both the sails and the hull. And at some point, I'm sure they'll add figurehead changing. That would be amazing if we could change our figureheads as well. Let me just check the quest log here. Blackbeard's treasures. Are there any indicators of if I've completed all of the treasures or not? Because I don't believe that there are any on my map. Wow, we're getting, oops. We're getting circled in here. I've got to get back to my base. But yeah, I don't have any more X's on the map, so unless I loot and find more, I think that might be it for the treasures. Alright, I'm gonna sleep so that it's daytime so that we can see what these colors look like in the light of day. Thankfully, no NPCs have stolen my beds. Jasper, get out of here. I know what you were gonna do. Nope. Not today. This one's occupied. Alright, let's take a look at these flags. I've been excited to do this and I keep forgetting because I keep having other giant goals to take on. Okay, let's come over here. Let's manage the Argonautica. Customization. Okay. So, we have Storm on the Horizon, Kraken Ink, and Tyrian Purple. Let's start with the Tyrian Purple. It's quite light compared to what I thought it would be. What about Kraken Ink? So that's like an oily green, I guess. And then Storm on the Horizon. You know, it's kind of interesting. These two don't look that different. I think you can see on the Storm on the Horizon, there's like a purple band across the top deck there, whereas with the Kraken Ink, it's all that solid, almost like black pearly color. And then this is just the Amethyst Squall, which I believe is the one I had before. I'm kind of like in the Kraken Ink. Okay. We've got Common Sails. We've got Blood Flare. Ooh, look at those black sails. I always love black and red. That always goes really well. We've got Stormy Sky, which is the purple, but also look, these like green, these sails look really good with the Kraken Ink. This is From the Depths. Ooh, this might be my favorite so far. And then we've got Gathering Clouds, which is just a lighter color. I think I'm gonna have to go, oh man, it's between these two. I don't know. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo, I guess. Okay. Flag. Let's see. I like having the bird on it because it's a raven flag, but we've also got Wise Serpent, which I like the gold on that one. Mystic Koi, Price of Gamble. Ooh, look. This one has the little bottom, I don't know what they're called, but that's really cool because these don't. So I might have to use this one. The Jolly Roger, of course. The Heart Reaper. I wish the bird flag had the little bottom flags as well with it, but I think I'm going to go with this one, which means I want to now go back up here and change to this one because I think the green and gold will look much better with the green of this. Okay, confirm. I think just leaving it like that should mean it's confirmed, right? Let's see what it looks like now. How's that look? I might need to recall it for it to work. Okay. Let me hop on the Mockingbird and see if we can take a look at this. It's a bit hard in the sunrise to see the coloring. I'm just gonna have to take it out to sea, I think, to get the full view.
The ship's under your hand, Captain.
And I have to turn my lantern off because that's skewing the color a bit. Oh, I'm gonna crash. Alright, let's see what we have here. It's interesting, it's like the contrast, you can't really tell that much of a difference. So the hull of the ship doesn't look different at all, actually. It just looks brown. Alright, let's keep the sails down though. This is really interesting. It doesn't look all that different, although I see the flag up there. I wonder, is all of this implemented? Very interesting. I mean, it still looks great. It really does. It still looks really good. But to me, the hull just looks like the default brown. I'm gonna have to play with this some more. What have you guys found with this? Have you found that the colors don't really change things as much as you thought they would? I definitely see the sails now in the sun. I definitely see the sails I chose. Not sure about that hull though. Very interesting. Well, anyway, I think I have done quite a bit of damage to Blackbeard today. Figured out a bit more lore about his artifact, helped Benjamin Hornigold defeat one of Blackbeard's lackeys, Stede Bonnet, and I'm gonna have to keep working on my personal pirate flair here. I think the next one is likely going to be revisiting the swamp again to try and figure out more about that mysterious creature to try and find it and see if it's actually a thing or not, while also working on making our way to the priestess, which is the final boss of Windrose. Anyway, that is it for me today, guys. I hope you are enjoying your games, particularly if you are setting sail in Windrose. I will see you all in the next video.